So they did the age progression at in 2012. I mean, I'm sorry, in 2015 when she turned 17, and it has now been 10 years since she has been missing. She would be 24 years old, 23 or 24 years old today, and they have since or have yet to do another age progression photo on her. She is missing from Mobile, Alabama. She's considered an endangered missing. Okay, remember how I told y'all it's different categories of missing people. She's considered endangered missing, and you're about to learn why. Why in a minute. So her height and weight was 5 feet, 150 pounds. At the time of her missing, she was wearing a pink floral shirt and blue jeans. Brittany suffers from severe asthma requiring medication. She doesn't have her medicine with her, or she didn't have it at the time of her disappearance. Okay, so this is the circumstances of her disappearance. It says Brittany was last seen with her when her aunt dropped her off with her father. So she was last seen when her aunt dropped her off at her father's home on McCovery Road in Mobile, Alabama at 9 a.m. on June 14th of 2012 for what was supposed to be a 2-day visit. And she has never been heard from again. So once her aunt dropped her off at her father's house, she was never heard from again. Now, from what I researched, her and her father's relationship was allegedly like very scarce. She had one of those relationships with her father where he was like every blue moon type of father. He was there and then he wasn't there. Okay, and so a lot of people from what I researched was upset with her mother because a lot of people didn't understand why she allowed the child to go on a 2 or 3 day weekend with her father who she barely knew. And then not only that, but the father is allegedly has mental health issues. Okay, so like people were asking why didn't she start off with supervised visitation first, and these are all good questions. Um, and I for once would like to know the answers to those as well, but at this time we don't know. I did attempt to reach out to Brittany's mother, and one thing that I'm starting to notice with a lot of these cases that I cover is usually some families will come back after I've dropped the video, and then they will interview with me later. Like so far, I've already heard from the daughter and mother of two of the other women that I've covered on this channel, and I am trying to set up interviews with them to get them on the channel. So yeah, so anyway, she was dropped off by her aunt. I don't know if it's her paternal or maternal aunt to her father's home on McCovery Road in Mobile, Alabama at 9 a.m. on June 14th of 2012. And it was supposed to be a 2-day visit, okay? And she was never heard from again. Her father, Demetric L. Hooper, left Mobile immediately after her disappearance. Excuse me, y'all. I think I needed some tea or something. I've been feeling under the weather all weekend. But yeah, so not only did her mother not hear from her anymore, but the father, y'all, disappeared after she disappeared. And it says he immediately left Mobile after her disappearance, and 6 weeks later a warrant was issued for his arrest. A photo of Hooper is posted with this case summary. So I will upload this photo as well so you guys can see a picture of her father. I didn't include it in my slides, but I will, okay? So it says in September, he was located at a mental health facility in Arkansas. Hooper suffers from schizophrenia and has sought treatment there. In the years prior to Brittany's disappearance, he had been hospitalized, okay, in Alabama several times for his mental illness and for drug problems, okay? So why would and I'm not criticizing or even trying to criticize Brittany's mother, But I got to be honest, y'all. I don't understand why this child was left alone with this man either. Not only does he suffer from mental health issues, but he was allegedly abusing drugs. And then not only that, but Brittany barely knew her father. And from what I researched, it has been said that allegedly Brittany was pressuring her mother, like she really, really wanted to see this man and have a relationship with him and all. And that's why the mother allowed her to go. But still, even if the child is pressuring you to see this estranged parent, you still have to be responsible, and you still have to have their best interest at heart. You have to remind yourself that kids don't know what's best for them, and sometimes just because they see something or they think something is a good idea, you have to be the parent. You have to remember that they're part of that part of their brain where they make good decisions is not fully developed. Okay, so you have to be the responsible party and say, hey, I realize and I'm happy that you want a relationship with your father, but you barely know this man. So instead of just letting you go freely to this person's residence and all, I am going to set up supervised visitation first, okay? And with supervised visitation, there is certain things that she could have also asked the judge. She could ask the judge, to monitor his mental health or whatever, and make sure he was taking his meds or whatever. But I don't understand that either. And again, I'm not trying to demonize the mother or making her seem stupid, because I don't know where her mindset was at that time. You know what I mean? I don't know. Okay. So this isn't a way of demonizing Brittany's mother, but that is a question that a lot of people had when researching this case, because not only that, but Demetric Hooper allegedly has another child that either has some type that he either abused, or the child went missing as well. I've been researching this case, y'all, all weekend. I cannot find the name or anything regarding this other child. Okay, I don't know where his he had a social media page or channel or whatever, and people were saying that even like the stuff that he posted seemed odd and weird. And again, I looked out all up and down for this channel or page or whatever it was, and I could not find it. Okay, so I don't know if he deleted the page or deactivated it or whatever, but I was not able to find it. But people from Mobile, Alabama, or people who are familiar with either Demetric or the case, they've been saying that the man is throwed off, one, and then two, he has another child allegedly that he allegedly did something to. Okay, and so that's why they were further upset with Brittany's mother for just letting her go on this weekend trip to visit her father. That's why people were stressing she should have went through supervised visitation first before just letting the baby go. Okay, so again, after Brittany disappeared, the father immediately left Mobile, Alabama, and he was located in a hospital in Arkansas. Okay, and this was like a mental health hospital. Okay, and so then after that, he was charged with felony custodial interference, because obviously when it came time to give the child back, he didn't have Brittany to produce her back to her mother. And so the only thing that they could charge him with was felony custodial interference, but as I continue to say on this case, I feel like some part of that falls on the mother, because you should have got supervised visitation. She barely knew this man, and I get it. As mothers, especially single parents, we encourage, or we really do deep down want the children to have a good relationship with their fathers. At least the women that I know who are single parents, they really want this. Okay, it's not that old rumor and that old stereotype going around about black women, especially saying that oh well, black women get bitter when the relationships end and they don't want the children to see the fathers. That's not necessarily true in everybody's case. From what I've learned, a lot of these men fall under the category of toxic and dangerous, or either they're toxic and dangerous to the mother, or they're toxic and dangerous to the children. They're negligent parents, and the parent doesn't see fit to leave the child with that person. Okay, That's what it is most of the time. So this stereotypical mess about the majority being bitter and being mad that this man moved on, from what I found, that's not always the case. Okay, you have to look deeper than that. So, anyways, he disappeared, like I said. So it says authorities determined he traveled extensively throughout the southeastern part of the United States after his daughter, Brittany, vanished. He took a bus from Memphis, Tennessee to Arkansas on July 7th. Okay, remember, y'all, she disappeared June 14th. Okay, 3 weeks after Brittany was last seen, she wasn't with him then. Hooper was carrying Brittany's pink iPod. Now, the audacity of that. Your daughter is missing, and you were the last person suspected to see her or whatever, and you like you got her pink iPod. You know what I'm saying? You got her stuff. You just roaming around with her stuff. So he had her pink iPod as well as some knives and a rope at the time of his arrest. If that's not suspicious, I don't know what is. It's almost like catching somebody hand in a cookie jar. You know what I mean? So he denied having any involvement with his daughter's disappearance. Hooper has prior arrests for domestic violence and assaulting a police officer and violently resisting police when they arrested him in Arkansas. But his relatives stated they didn't believe he would have harmed Brittany. Okay, now that right there irritates me because a lot of times you have relatives and families who are either in denial about who their loved ones really is. Excuse me, y'all. Um, y'all know I had bariatric surgery and I always kind of burp or whatever. Always, I don't know. But anyways, people who have these families and you know the person is mentally unwell or whatever, they're usually in some form of denial about how dangerous this person really is. Okay, and that's not to say everybody with a mental illness is dangerous, because y'all know how I stress that on this channel. A lot of people who have mental illness, they get called crazy and they're not. A lot of these people have mental disabilities, but they are perfectly in their right mind. It's no different than a person losing a limb and still being able to ambulate. They're still able to move around or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They have a disability, a physical disability, but physically they can still move around. It's no different with a mental situation. From what I've learned from working with mental people for 10 years of my medical career, is even though they have these different things about them or whatever, may it be schizophrenia, bipolar, or what have you, they still have, especially if they're, they have the DOD, the dissociative personality disorder or whatever it's called. They still have these moments where they are literally in their right mind and they're fully aware of what they're doing or what they're not doing. Now, that doesn't go for everybody. Okay. So, again, because he had a history of being violent towards other people or whatever, again, that's what makes the family seem like they're in denial, because this man, if he can be violent towards a police officer, especially as a black man, the way police, knock them off or whatever, with, police are being known even in 2022 of unaliving them even in their sleep. So the fact that you as a black man can be bold with a cop and be violent with them in today's day and age, that says a lot about your mental state. That says you don't have a lot of anything holding you back from when you get violent or whatever. And then, he is it said in this article that he has schizophrenia. So, people who are schizophrenic, they hallucinate a lot, they see things that are not there or whatever. So I don't necessarily believe that just because they said, oh, well, we don't believe he would have hurt Brittany, that that's enough to clear him. You see what I'm saying? I definitely believe he probably snapped and went too far and did something that he shouldn't have, or probably interpreted. She probably did something that kids and teenagers her age do, and he probably interpreted it the wrong way and took it too far and probably abused this child and did something else. Okay. And then there's that third theory of mine where I'm thinking, do you have Chester molester vibes? You know what I'm saying? Do you, or have you ever in your past had Chester molester vibes where you have inappropriately touched on a child or whatever. Okay, because this little something had to happen if he allegedly, did have something to do with her disappearance or whatever. Like, you know something, and you're her father. You were left she was left in your custody over the weekend. So if you didn't do nothing to Brittany, who did? She was 14. She's not old enough to consent with her for herself. So if she left with somebody, who did she leave with? You see what I'm saying? Because it's not answering those questions in these articles. Everything that I've researched on this case, it's like the fingers all point to the father, because if you didn't do nothing to Brittany, point us in a direction of who did. Who did she leave with? Who was she around? You know what I mean? And it says nothing about that. It just says on his part, he said he ain't do it. And I don't know, about the detectives down in Mobile, Alabama, but from how the article layout is, it seems like the minute he said he didn't have nothing to do with it, they just was like, oh well, we'll move on to something else. Like, they charged him, of course, with felonious custodial interference. He was supposed to do 10 years for it, but he only did 4. So they let this dangerous person, this possibly dangerous person, back out on the streets to do whatever. And his daughter is missing. He don't know, he allegedly don't know where she's at or whatever. He said he don't have nothing to do with her disappearance. But again, per the records, you were the last person to see this young lady. Where is she at? I wonder, did they ask him that? Because it doesn't say that in these articles. And this is all I have to go off of is the article. It doesn't say they never or they ever asked you where this young lady was at. They just asked you if you had any involvement in her missing, and you said no. And it seems like from this article, they just let it go. That's a flop on the police department and him as a parent and the mother. I have to say, y'all, I have to speak my heart on this, and the mother, because if you knew that this girl had a speckled relationship with her father, she wasn't really there around her father like that. He wasn't as active a father. Maybe it was because of his the main thing, his mental health issues. This motherfucker cannot take care of himself, you know what I'm saying? And his drug abuse issues. What like, really, what made you, or what came in your head that made you think leaving this 14-year-old girl with somebody she barely knew was a good idea? Okay, so I get that they probably charged him with just like they did OJ. Like, they couldn't get OJ for off in Nicole. So the next time the OJ messed up, they got him on something else minor, and they made him do a little bit of time. And low key, everybody in America knew that OJ was really serving that time, not because he stole his own stuff, but because he allegedly offed Nicole. Okay, we all knew that. So with this case, that's what I thought about when it said that they charged him with felonious custodial interference. They charged him. He was supposed to do 10 years. He only did 4. I low-key thought that maybe the police did this because they know he has something to do with that young girl coming up missing, but they have nothing to pin that murder and missing or abuse charge on him. So they took it a different direction, and they had to find something. They had to sift the haystack like with a fine-tooth comb and find that pin, find something to pin something else on him, because again, they didn't have enough evidence to say, hey, you were involved with her missing, you were involved with her murder. So they had to go through the law books and find some kind of law that he broke and pin that on him instead. Okay, thinking that, and the vibe that I got from reading all of that was, I don't know about Mobile, Alabama's police department, but again, the fact that I've covered so many of these cases and I know how police drag their feet, I feel like they also did this to shut the mother up. Like, hey, we did something for this girl. We goddamn charged him with something. Be happy with that. Okay, he didn't fully get off. Okay, and that's not good enough. We need to know where Brittany is. Okay, we need to know where Brittany is at. We need to know where she's at. We want to know where she's at, okay? Where is Brittany? Who did she leave with that weekend? Did they question Demetric on that? Okay, that's what's ticking me off. It seemed like from this article they asked him one question: did you have something to do with it? The fool said no, and it's like everybody just turned their heads and went about their way. Even though he shows all the signs of being guilty. After Brittany disappeared or whatever, he immediately left Mobile, Alabama. And he was all over southeastern United States, traveling with her pink iPad and a set of knives and all and a rope. What the fuck do you got them items for? Okay? What do you have them items for? Where is your daughter at? Seriously. And if I'm coming off a little irritated, it's because as I study more and more of these missing persons cases or whatever, it's literally like you go missing or whatever. It's like they do the bare minimum when it comes to people of color and black women when we go missing in the murder cases. Okay, so I am irritated with it because it's like, all of the signs that this person is possibly guilty or has something to do with this young lady's disappearance is right in your face, and you don't care. Okay, and again, referencing that case that just happened with that teacher down in Memphis or whatever. And don't get me wrong, anybody, no matter what your background is, what your nationality, what your disability, what your identity, your religion, none of that matters. You come up missing, somebody ought to be out there looking for you. But it always irritates me how one of these clear people go missing. And like I said, like the woman in Memphis, Tennessee, few weeks ago, she went missing, and within 7 days, they had her corpse, they had the culprit, they had him locked up in chains, and they had a full history timeline of his criminal record and his background. Okay, now it is sad that they didn't find her in enough time to save her life. I will say that, but it's still irritating with cases like this. Brittany Robinson, this young lady, this 14-year-old, she was 14 when she went missing. She would be 24 today. Brittany Robinson, y'all, has been missing for 10 years. And deep down in my heart, I feel like they had the culprit on the line. Okay, they had a person of interest right there, her father. The person who has a history of being physical, even with authority and all. The person who was last to see her alive. The person who, when they did find his ass after he went on a 4-month road trip around southeastern United States, they found him with her pink iPad, a set of knives, and a rope. And still yet, some way, somehow, he was able to slip through the cracks and go on and mosey on and live his life. And this girl is gone. They have no trace of her. That's a problem for me. So, like I said, because this article is about to get into what happened when they charged him. It says in August of 2014, 2 years after Brittany's disappearance, 2 years and some change, he pled guilty to custodial interference and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. He was released in December of 2016 after only serving 4 years. Searches of Hooper's home turned up no evidence of Brittany's whereabouts, and she hasn't had any contact with friends or relatives since she was last seen. She was supposed to begin her freshman year at Murphy High School in the fall of 2012 and has signed up for advanced placement courses. That means this young lady was a bright young lady. Okay, she was very smart. She wasn't your average student. The left picture of that you see of Brittany, that full face pic, that is an age progressive pic. That is how she would look, or how science says she would look at 17, okay? And this girl gone, and you just running around. I'm irritated, y'all. So it says the circumstances of her disappearance are unclear, okay? And if you have any information on Brittany's disappearance, you are to call Mobile Police Department at area code 251-208-1700, okay? And I found some other stuff on Dimitri too. Let me take these slides down because I was supposed to add his picture up in here. Let me find that so I can add it up in here. Because again, it's real messed up that it seems like they had all the evidence right there at their fingertips. It seems like they had all of these things that pointed to her father. And it seems like, they asked him one question and just let his ass free to the wild to go harm somebody else. And allegedly, from what I've researched, like I've already said, he has another child out there who he's either abused or done something to. They said either after or before Brittany, which I believe is pretty much after. Because I don't think her mother would allow her to go with this man had she known about a child before Brittany who had already been abused. So I'm guessing you know, after she came up missing, he allegedly again had another child who he abused or did something to. And there was a lot of people angry about Brittany's case because again, this man, it's almost like y'all let a murderer free with this one. So let me just find this picture of this man so I can add these slides back in. Cause y'all, I was irritated all around with this whole thing, this whole damn case. Okay, and I found the picture. I just need to add it in. But yeah, and then I was going to come up with an idea because I just made a TikTok or whatever. You all can look up Black Women Aware on TikTok. I haven't put any content up on there just yet. But I came up with an idea, okay, to help black women out. And basically, because I see all of this other stuff on TikTok that goes viral and all. So I came up with an idea that if you are a black woman, I'm going to make a video on TikTok and I want you all to either duet the video or stitch the video. And when you duet or stitch the video, I need for you to say what you would and would not do. So, for example, if you have ever been the type of person who struggled with thoughts of unaliving yourselves, I need you to state that in that video or don't state it. You know what I'm saying? And then go down the line. What kind of people would you or would you not hang out with? What's your height and weight? What are things that you like and don't like? And why do I want black women to do this in a 3-minute video on TikTok? Because if your ass come up missing, we know for sure, or if you come up dead, we know for sure from, for example, I'm gonna just use anybody's name. I'm not picking on anybody in particular. But if Keisha come up missing, if Keisha Johnson from Dallas, Texas comes up missing, I know from Keisha's video that she uploaded, the safety, I'm gonna call it some type of safety video or whatever. I know from Keisha Johnson's video in Dallas, Texas, that she uploaded that she's definitely most certainly doesn't struggle with thoughts of unaliving herself. I know things like that. You don't have to get too personal, but just something for us to work with because a lot of these cases, one, they're stressful for me to cover because they're very depressing. Okay. A lot of people don't want to cover missing cases, especially those of black women, because there's not a lot of information out there. Okay. Then you dedicate a lot of time to these cases and you get people who either don't want to share them. You get people who families who like, I ain't gonna lie, I do get irritated sometimes with families because I'm trying to help you get your loved one home and they won't respond. And I tell them exactly who I am. My name is Candace Yvette. I am a vlogger and advocate for black women and children. Here is my email. This is my YouTube channel. We don't care about me going viral. This ain't about me. This is about your loved one and the fact that they're out there missing. Don't nobody know where they are. When I came across your case, nobody else was trying to cover it. Okay, and I cared enough to reach out to you so that you can get some airtime, so that you know, damn it, nobody forgot about your loved one. We care and we want this person to come home. So it's very, sometimes running this channel, and I've said this many times with Black Women Aware, I do get discouraged. I do want to give up sometimes because look at the videos. Look at all these missing ladies and murder victims out here, And again, this channel, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay? It doesn't get any attention. And literally that's most likely what I cover. That's most of what I cover is black women missing in murder cases. But my first one of the murder cases that I covered, it was two black women fighting each other or what have you. Two black women fighting over a man or whatever. And that video, okay, that video about those two young ladies fighting over a man and one unalived the other, it got 15,000 views. Now that video was like the most viewed on Black Women Aware. And when I compared it to the other cases and the other things that I cover on Black Women Aware, I was like, man, I said other than Katina Davis, who is one of the young ladies who was in that video, and the other one in Chicago, Illinois, Treasure Hendricks. I said, other than those two cases, these other videos just flop. Okay, that's why I came up with an idea, and I said I need black women to do this like a safety video. I haven't came up with a specific name for it yet. So where again, you tell us what you will and won't do. Are you suicidal? Lord forgive me for saying that word because I ain't supposed to say that on YouTube, but fuck it. Are you suicidal? Do you have tendencies to want to hurt yourself? Do you do drugs? And I ain't telling you to go on social media and put all your business out there because we know some of y'all do illegal street drugs and you ain't gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? But you if you're clever, you can find a way to tell people that shit and still not get incriminated if you're clever with your words and shit. I ain't telling you to put that out there, but I'm saying tell us the big shit. So that if in case, God forbid, if you come up missing or we find your remains and you're dead somewhere, we know that when they try to cover or smear your case or cover it up and say Keisha Johnson unalived herself, no, sir, we have a video right here. Keisha adamantly said that she is not, or nor has she ever been, the type of person to struggle with suicidal thoughts and all. You know what I mean? She's never been that type of person. So you need to look deeper than that. Okay? So I pulled these slides back up and I'm going to run through these pictures one more time before I get off of here. So this is Brittany. Let me see if I can do a full screen. This is Brittany Shante Robinson. Okay? This is her at 14. This is her father. This is Demetric L. Hooper. Okay. This is the individual who was last seen with Brittany, or is known to have been the last person seen with her at the time of her disappearance. This is the individual who took a road trip after his daughter came up missing. These is not normal things that parents do. And I know a lot of people would like to be lazy and say, like, lazy in their thinking and say, oh, well, he had a mental disorder. Y'all know how many motherfuckers I'd have met with schizophrenia that still give a damn about their kids or whatever. They probably are not enough in their right minds to where they can be fit parents, but they give a damn about their kids, okay? They give a damn. Okay, it's both bipolar, men and women, black men and women that I've met. Yeah, these motherfuckers, they can fly off the rail on you any moment, but they care about their kids. Okay, so that's not no excuse as to, oh, well, Candace, he has schizophrenia, and even though his daughter came up missing, that the fact that he had schizophrenia, that ought to explain why he took a 4-month vacation. Nah, homie. You fool somebody who's ignorant and don't know the medical field, or mental people who ain't never worked with them. You can fool them with that, but you can't fool me with that. This man was running because I feel like he either had some involvement or he himself directly harmed his child, okay? And he was running because he felt like any day now they gonna be coming to pick my ass up. But what was lucky for him in this case is the police they didn't have enough evidence to charge his ass. Okay, so he got off or whatever, and the family it seems like they're protecting him because again in the article it says, well, he wouldn't have hurt Brittany. Y'all know one thing that I noticed about men who are estranged from their children, especially for years. And I don't know how long he was allegedly estranged from Brittany Robinson. But I noticed that men who go a long time estranged from their children, they don't have that intact or that strong emotional bond as the parent who stayed. Or this could go for mothers as well. Parents, rather, who are estranged from their children for long periods of time or whatever, they don't have that intact emotional bond with that child like the parent who stayed. Okay, and we ain't talking about weekend daddies and stuff like that, because weekend daddies, they have some type of bond with their children. I'm talking about real deal deadbeats, the one who you can't find, you ain't got no contact information for this person from one day to the next. Their phone number change every 2 seconds and all those type of people I'm talking about. Okay, but anyways, yeah, I do believe that he possibly has something to do with her disappearance. But again, I don't want to spend too much time on here or whatever, because I do feel like I'm coming down with a cold. But this is the beautiful young Brittany Shante Robinson. You guys, please, if you can, all you can do is hit the like button and comment down below. Okay, make her case known. Okay, please, that's all I'm asking. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for anybody else. Do it for her mother. Do it for the people who remember her. Do it for her family who loved her and they need closure in this situation. That's all I'm asking. Okay. um but yeah, he definitely needs to be brought down. He needs to because I personally believe he has something to do with her disappearance, but the families definitely need closure. That's all I have to say about this case, and I had to get off of it because it's very sad and it's depressing or whatever. And it just, some of these cases, y'all, they just wear me down because of how sad they are, you know. But my well wishes and my prayers go out to Brittany's family. You guys, please remember what I always tell y'all on Black Women Aware: be safe, be alert, and please be aware. This is Candace Yvette, and I'm signing off.